Here's our typical Sportclips central vac system rough-in piping installation, starting at the front of the store. In this case, the counter, the checkout counter, is going to be on the left, so we have a vacuum inlet located here. This store is the type where the stations sit on angled walls built out from the demising walls in the space. So that allows us to run the piping behind the studs. In this case, you can see first from the counter area, we run our wall inlet across, and then we pick up the inlet at our first station with a Y fitting pointed towards the back of the store. And then we come along to a sweep 90, and this piping goes up above the drop ceiling, comes along, and here you can see a Y fitting where we come down to the inlet that serves these two stations. So between each chair, each pair of chairs, there's a locker that contains a vacuum hose and a wall inlet, and these wall inlets are placed to correspond to the lockers, which have been marked on the floor. So on the other side, we kind of have the mirror image. We have an inlet in the center. The pipe goes behind the stud. One thing to note, we never run piping inside the channel of the steel stud. You're asking for trouble. You want that piping to be as far you want to have at least a few inches clearance either to the side of the stud or behind the stud to avoid screws puncturing the pipe. Because as you might imagine, that is no fun to fix after the store is finished. So again, we're running along the top here above the drop ceiling. The piping can run anywhere above the level of the ceiling grid, so lower is a little friendlier to work on. You can see our Y arrangement again. So having the Y come off the side of the trunk line ensures that debris, in this case hair, picked up from an inlet to the right will not fall in and collect in the inlet here. So once our one side is complete, at some point we need to cross over and tie into the other side. So looking at, again, at the back of the store, the vacuum unit is going to be to the left, toward the left. So we need to bring our piping from the right side over to the left side. There's no sense running two pipes to the back of the store unless you absolutely have to. So what we've done is we've used a sweep 90, turned at a 45-degree angle to give a nice gentle uphill slope, and then we've run along the bar joist. And our line coming in from the inlets toward the left side of the store now picks up the inlets to the right side of the store with a Y fitting. And then this pipe continues all the way back. And here we've roughed in piping coming down the walls. Sometimes we'll just leave it above the drop ceiling if we're not totally sure, but in this case we know that the separator is going to go right here on this wall, and the motor unit is actually already installed above us. So you can see that pipe with the Y in it is going to come down to the interceptor and then to the separator, and then our pipe, our straight pipe to the left, goes up to the motor unit, and then you can see our two exhaust lines from the motor out to the roof, or roof as we say in Chicago. One unique thing about this store, we do have a training area that we're actually standing in right now. So this is going to have its own salon station that's separate from the rest of the store. It's not to be used, I guess, by the salons that are cutting customers' hair. But this is going to have its own vacuum inlet. And so that just runs up the stud wall. We had to run within the studs, and so we re-drill the steel studs. And one thing, if you can see up there, we run the control wire through a PVC sleeve that we just make by taking a chunk of vacuum pipe and slitting it and then sliding it, clipping it around the pipe and the wire, and then sliding it to protect the wire from chafing against the cut edge of the steel stud. and we think that's an important detail. And then this one again, we had to bring it up to the bar joist, over. Unless you want to run wires down, and suspend the pipe 3 feet and have it swaying all over the place, you have to go up, over, and down. And then we're wiring into the rest of the system there. And that's about it. At the finish installation, when we get called back here, all of the lockers will be in. We'll put in the comb stops, trademark of Airline Vacuum. We will put in the front wall inlet. We will mount the separator here, and the interceptor. We'll mount the hose hangers, and the system will be up and running. Thank you for watching.